that are happening in the community or specific working group. And I'll pass to Lauren if you would not mind kicking us off.
Thanks, Tim. Temperature check. I'm feeling warm. Yesterday the water proposal, or the water thing happened, and so I was like up late signing a bazillion multi-sig transactions. So now we have like water liquidity for TEC, and you can already see on HoneySwap that there's like a lot of ARB happening, which is really cool and exciting. So I'm feeling like warm from that, and like also like the warm afterglow of being up too late signing transactions. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's really all I have to mention and check in on right now. I'll pass it to Lydia.
What did you pass it to me?
I did.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, temperature check. I think things are warm. I I think I'm just seeing a challenge with some of the things we want to bring in, like starting to talk more about async communication and management, and just trying to think of like how can we slowly start to bring this more to the TEC, and seeing the beauty and also the challenge of cultural practices being very ingrained. And I would also love to talk about this transition of praise. And I love the suggestion Lauren gave to uh, incentivize people to transcribe their praise, and assuming that a lot of people already write down their praise and then work on this transition. And also, I'm very excited about like the depth we are achieving with the reward system. There's so many every week there's a new insight that we are all digging into it, and it feels like we're creating a very complex system that is so robust right now, and I think it will be so useful to so many communities. And I'll pass to Zaptimus.
Thank you, Olivia. Yeah, I'm just playing with the dashboard and it got an update and it's awesome. Like it's so good. Like now you can mark like multiple praises as duplicate. It's so easy. I don't know who to praise for that, but damn, it looks awesome. Besides that, I lucky to have Sam in here. So today I was working on the wireframes for the ABC dashboard, and then he told me like we need to polish like there's like some things like to get done. Some things like can get done easily. The four quadrants two can get done easily, but then two like we need to get a decision like if we want to, every time we create a commons, do we want to have a dune? Then we have to do one thing like it's easier. But then if we don't want to, and it will be more easy to replicate, but it will be more work now. It would be use the graph. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a discussion we can have in the next call of the ABC dashboard. And yeah, I'll pass it to Manu.
Thanks, Septi. Yeah, well, for me, things are getting warmer. I'm becoming better and better at doing the onboarding, recognizing different types of people and what they would like to what they would like the TC to be framed on according to their needs. And also, I'm hitting also temperatures warm because from the people that are joining, I see a lot of people with the potential to offer valuable contributions to our financial initiative. They either have some experience consulting on token economics for projects and they'd like to take that now to token engineering, maybe do the in-house consulting with us for other projects. And so there's a couple of people that I'm very excited to collaborate on. Also met someone else that is going to be writing evergreen articles with me. I have one that's I've been writing for so long that we're both going to launch. So it's getting warmer for me. Yeah, so that's exciting. And I will pass it to Durgadas. If you just joined Durgadas, we're just doing a temperature check on the community. So just what you're feeling a vibe about.
Oh, it's incredible how much you can feel behind when you're not here for a month. So I'm, yeah. So there's a lot going on. I'm a little bit cooler these days on things, just because I can't put my full attention on this because this is a messy thing going on over on my side. So um, yeah, it's great though. It seems like there's new people coming and all of that. I just I'm feeling a little bit cool, I guess, because I'm seeing folks kind of showing up and then not sort of asking about what has come before, a little bit. So it's a bit more of hey, we just ignore everything that's happened up to now and just build something. So yeah, it's a little bit weird um, from my perspective, but I'd sure like to see an onboarding process that would sort of reveal some of the stuff that we've done to folks. Yeah, that's I guess my check-in. I don't know who's gone yet, so I'm a little bit late.
Mert, would you care to go next?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Tam. So my temperature is that so last month was a cold month for me, but this month I'm pretty hyped up, and also there's a lot of things going on that I'm very interested in, especially the new working group initiative, Sampo. Like today we will kickstart, so I'm very hyped up about it. Feeling very warm to contribute it, and also regarding Omega work, I think we are progressing very well. Like maybe you remember last time I was saying, I think we need more energy. So I think we find that energy and it's going very well. I'm very happy about it. And so the other thing, I have proposed inverter. Proposed inverter is also going very hyped, very warm and active. So I'm feeling like this week. So and I would like to pass it on. I think
Wonka?
okay.
Wonka, would you care to go next?
Yeah. Um, well, um, today I arrived to Barcelona. I'm happy because last weeks I was traveling so much that I really got exhausted, and even though that I have a lot of work, there are some things that are like um, 90% ready. So I think like um, being able to stay in one place for at least a month and will help me to take out a lot of things that are like almost ready but that haven't been launched, like the graviton training. Also I am happy to see that there's an invitation from the LTF group to talk about mental health, energy, and imagination. That's amazing. Also, the conversations we're having in Aragon. So I think like things were moving, and there's a lot of things that once that one moves, like the other ones will move in chain, and I think we'll get to that point soon. And I'll pass to Chui.
Thank you, Juanca. I assume this is temperature check, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like Juanca, I'm also just exhausted of traveling. I really want to be home now. But yeah, it's like somewhere around like 18 more hours. Um, so yeah, there are things that are moving. Uh, this is a week that I really like regretted not being more available because there's so much stuff happening that I want to catch up with. But there's great energy in the teams, and I also feel that there has been like a lot of autonomy, especially around the T Academy team, um, just to start like initiatives that I feel are gonna bring some attention to the TEC. And now I also have the intention of putting together just a general idea of how we can work like the token gating idea for the Discord server, but from a marketing approach that I feel is gonna could use a lot of feedback from the stewards. So as soon as I develop it a little bit more, I'll share it with all of you. I already talked to Septi about some of the ideas, but yeah, I feel it needs to be a little bit more mature. So yeah, hopefully I can catch up with this sprint. And I'll pass it to Lauren.
So I think everyone is gone but me. So I'll close it out and say, yeah, I feel, well, so first of all, I miss Eduardo. I notice he's not here this week, so I notice his vacation. And that's actually really nice. Although he, even though he's on vacation, did a 30-minute sync with me today. And then maybe I'll say the efforts for Sampo, this new maybe guild, maybe working group. There's a channel and a meeting that's going to start happening weekly. I think Gideon is perhaps one of the people who's sort of helping quarterback this along right now. Is really exciting because I think that our financial health and our revenue possibilities is something that's been on our mind consistently for weeks, months, and now I feel like there's going to be a critical mass to address it and to start taking concrete actions, which is really cool. And then just for me personally, this is the last week for nominations for the Commons Prize for the Commons Stack. So I feel like I've been doing an extreme amount of outreach, like to the point where I'm almost like uncomfortably socially. I've talked to so many people this week and messaged so many people this week. It's a lot considering how few people I guess I really talk to each week. So I think that's going to continue up until the nomination closes on Friday. And I've already reached out to Juanca to make sure that you know about the deadline so you could submit the nomination for Gravity. But in general, I will post on the TEC general channel later today just to remind people that nominations for the Commons Stacks Commons Prize close today. Okay. So maybe moving on to the next, if there's anything in the Guardians that we need to talk about. I see that there's a new comms team DAO request for animation and video production. There's still the retroactive funding for TEC at ETH Denver and CAD community funding that are still waiting to pass. We're still waiting for more support. I guess the one was uploaded today. Oh, just recently. Cool, Chewy. Great getting that one in. So I'm going to say there's probably nothing for us to discuss. Check in on the spotlight for the community call. I think the last 2 weeks we didn't do it. Should we just say we won't do it this week?
Actually, Tam, last week it was just miscommunication between the whole CatCat team. Like he was waiting for a confirmation when I thought it was a done deal. So for this week, Chris Catoya, which is the leader, community, the one in charge of community of CatCat, would be attending. So he's going to be in our spotlight for this week.
Cool. Yeah, that will be awesome. Thanks for that. And it's perfect timing because they still need some more support to pass. Thanks. So maybe, I don't know, Manu, do you want to update the presentation slide to include Chris Catoya and CAD for the spotlight?
Yes, I'll do that. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Also, I have been talking with Humberto, and he's been wanting to present a proposal he has in the forum, so we can have him here. Yeah, maybe not for this week, but for one of the next weeks.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great, actually. Manu, do you think you want to take on the role of coordinating this? And I know Nate was kind of doing it, but while he's not going to be available for a few weeks, a few months, do you think you can take this on? This coordination?
Yeah. I'm already doing it extra officially, so I might as well be doing it officially.
Okay, thanks, Manu.
You're muted, Tom.
Oh, sorry. So Patty asked in the Stewards channel if which steward will be presenting this, the Token Engineering Commons in the Introduction to Token Engineering this Saturday. I mean, sorry, Jesus, this Thursday. I don't know if anyone feels like they want to do it. Anyone wants to volunteer to do it that hasn't done it before?
Well, I
Well,
did it once, but I volunteered to do it again.
okay. Anyone, just it'd be great if we could get somebody who hasn't done it before, but if not, then Wonka, awesome.
My only thing is that maybe I don't have that in my calendar, and it would be good to know. Like, I am really disorganized with the time zones right now, so that would be helpful.
Got it. Okay.
It's just before the council, Juan.
Oh, okay, that's perfect.
Cool. In the Stewards channel, then, do you want to let Pat know that you will be presenting TEC and you have access to the deck and everything that we use?
I think once I did it, so I might have access. But if you can resend me the link to have it like more on easy access, it would be really cool. Okay, that's
Okay.
before the council.
No, sorry, I said it wrong. It's after the council. At the same time
Okay,
that this orientation.
during orientation.
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. I can do that.
Let's see if I can find it somewhere. I think it's this one. I'll drop it maybe. I think this is the one. I'm going to have to come back to you, actually. I don't want to hold up the call to do that.
Yeah.
I'll do it after this. So advice process. So I'm thinking about Steward's new funding proposal. And, you know, the original funding proposal was just based on like status quo, continue doing what we were doing because it was simple and I didn't want to get delayed for funding by trying to think about how we should be funding Stewards. But since, you know, I've asked a few people for advice process, but I also want to bring it to our weekly. I've had some thoughts, some different ideas. I think maybe having working groups themselves fund their working group coordination leads. Now that working groups have funding, so originally it was sort of, there wasn't funding for this, so the Stewards working group was taking that on. And so that's one idea. And then the second idea is actually compensating stewards in TEC tokens. So I'd like to get some thoughts from these two ideas. Anything you see as positive, any risks that you see. And I'll pass to Chewy to get us started.
I'm sorry, Tom. I feel that before taking a step like that, the reward system distribution is going to give us a lot of experience taking decisions around distributions in TEC tokens. I mean, I love the idea because it's like compensating people in, you know, like in participation in the community. However, I feel that we still need to get a better sense of the behavior of just a wider distribution outside of the 400 or so holders of TEC that already are. So yeah, this is just like one of the concerns that I wanted to mention going to this point, and I'll pass it to Mert.
But just can I ask again? So you
Yes,
mean
sorry.
you'd rather that the TEC stewards get paid an XDAI until we see how distribution with rewards system of TEC token goes?
Oh yeah, I mean, if it's something that it's in the next couple of sprints, maybe, I would say let's keep doing it in XDAI, just so that we can have more observation time around how the reward system distribution behaves. Also,
I
yes,
want to
yes.
make some, sorry, I guess I'm not being clear enough. Thank you for making that point. I don't mean that the stewards get rewarded in TEC tokens by the reward system. I mean that there would be a budget, and the stewards working group would take the equivalent amount in XDAI, buy TEC tokens, and rather than sending tokens, send XDAI. So it would be apart from the reward system. I just want to make that very clear. It wouldn't be relying on the reward system. It would be additional to the reward system. But instead of XDAI, it would be in TEC tokens.
Yeah, I understand that part.
Okay.
The only, like, just one of the concerns that I've been having is that other than the hatch and like having some like first buyers, we really haven't had like a more like, let's say, inclusive behavior so far. I mean, the reward system distribution is gonna make the number of holders grow. So I feel this is gonna bring another kind of behavior to the market. If either people hold it or sell it, I feel it's gonna have a very interesting effect. So I feel that maybe it would be a good idea to learn from this experience with this distribution, see how just people in the market in general behave with a greater amount of holders before taking the decision of making other distributions in TEC. I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
You are. Thank you.
Okay. Great.
And do you want to add anything about the working groups themselves compensating working group coordination leads, or do you think this still is something that the Steward working group should continue to take on?
Yeah, I don't really think I have an opinion on on that yet, but I would like to listen to just other input on this.
Sounds good.
And yeah, I'll pass it to Mert.
Thank you, Chewy. So about working groups leads funded by the working group, like I think it won't make very big difference, but philosophically I think it's better to be funded by your working group, since like your steward is kind of nominating you to be a working group coordination lead, and you are representing your working group in your stewards calls. So I think it makes sense, but I don't think it will make a huge difference. So I will be okay to both. I believe. Regarding getting paid with TC, I think that's a very good idea. Again, like I was thinking when Chewy said maybe there will be sell pressure when the new distributions goes on, but I think it will be good to have giving voice to your community members in governance by contribution. So, for example, if you ask my personal opinion, I would love to get paid in TC tokens. It will give more governance power to me. So, like, I can also buy governance tokens by my XDAI, but again, like, it's not huge difference, but I will love it. I will like it. That's it. And I would like to pass it on Zepti.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I mean, my initial thought is like it will be more expensive for the TC. Like what I feel like people will be doing is just what they were getting paid for the TC. this extra budget people will ask on their proposals, and then on top of that they are going to have this TC. So yeah, my first impression is like it will be more expensive for the commons, and the other way, like, I mean, yeah, like I feel like people like the stewards for sure. I feel like, you know, if they are getting compensated for the working group, like they are going to hold their token, so it will give stewards more governance power. Some stewards have very little governance power, so I think that's good. But yeah, my impression is like it. We should be careful because it could be more expensive for the TC, and I don't know. Like I feel we are short in funds. Yeah, that's
How
my
would it be
opinion.
more expensive?
Because like, you know, like if the coordination now is okay, it's passing to the working group, so that means like working groups will ask for this extra budget, but then you are also getting TC tokens from the stewards for I don't know the reason, just for being a steward.
So you're saying if stewards are compensated in TEC tokens, that would be more expensive for the TEC?
No, I mean, like, you know, like, okay, the people we're sending, like the people will ask the funds from the, you know, like I don't think like TC should be like a salary token. Like if it's going to use as a salary, then it's going just to be sold. And yeah, like I feel like the people from the working group, they are going to ask their salary. Like it's my impression. I don't know what people is going to do, but I feel like people will ask them the money from their working groups, and then yeah, then get extra TC. That means more revenue for the people, which is good, but at the same time more expensive for the commons, which is, in my opinion, not good.
I'm not sure I'm following that logic, Zep.
I mean, if you know, if I'm asking 2K to transparency and 1K for stewards, let's say, then if I ask 3K to transparency and then the stewards is also giving me TC tokens, that means I'm getting more tokens, right?
Okay. So if the funding goes to the working groups, then the stewards would stop the funding for the working group coordination leads.
Yeah, I mean that's okay.
And then if the funding for the TEC tokens would be the same funding as if you were getting paid an XDAI, and then instead of getting paid an XDAI, you would get paid as a steward, you get 500 XDAI equivalent of TEC tokens.
But you are getting paid twice, right?
Why would you get paid twice?
Because you're saying like you get paid for your working group for what you're doing on the stewards, which is okay, but then you're also getting paid in TC from the stewards. This is what I don't understand.
I guess I'm not following either. So currently what happens is the stewards is funding stewards and working group coordination. So I'm suggesting that the stewards get paid in TEC tokens. And I'm asking for advice process on this.
Okay, so yeah, I get it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of the stewards receiving XDAI, they receive TEC tokens.
I mean, I think it's good for the commons. Even if the stewards are selling, it's sending money to the common pool, right?
Or they use the secondary market. We use the secondary market. But yeah, in theory, we would.
I mean, yeah, I think it's good. Volume for the TC is good, always good.
The second thing would be, what do you feel about the working groups each supporting their own working group coordination lead? So that funding for the working group coordination lead coming from the working groups themselves, and the person might have multiple roles rather than coming directly from the stewards working group. Advice process on this too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the only thing that working groups should do is like just add those tasks on their Dwork or whatever platform everyone is using, and I don't think like that would affect the flow. So I think that's cool too, and I actually think it's more healthy for the community.
Which one is more healthy?
Oh, I mean both, but I was talking about like because you know when I was doing the audit for the stewards, like it felt like the stewards were getting paid for joining some calls to some coordination, but it was not so explicit. So you know, if it's in the working groups, they can you know, update the issues and do it more transparent actually. So I think that's cool.
You want to pass?
Sorry, I'll pass it to. Did you go, Laura?
I didn't go. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to pay the stewards in TC. I think it's just better. I mean, if I got paid in TC, I would just hold the TC, and then I'd be happy for the government's power. I mean, yeah, I think it's like, but so Tam, the we're getting the funding from the garden, and then for the stewards working group, and then buying TC on the open market, and then yeah, which is nice because that also puts positive it puts buy pressure on the TC token, which I think is good as well. And yeah, and it also makes sense to me to like fund the working group leads from the working groups because then they have like more transparency as to like what that working group lead is doing and like how that fits in with the working group, which seems like a little bit outside of the scope of the stewards, even though related. I think it's better. I'll pass it to Wonka. Wait, did Wonka go?
No, thanks, Lauren. Um, the only thing that I don't like is the volatility, and that always the people with more skin in the game will be able to, if they sell their TC, like sell it at a better price than other people, and somehow that can generate certain inequality. That with the stable coins we can say, okay, all the stewards um, earn the same, and also on the same topic of volatility, like the work we are doing now, if we pay it in stables, it would be like the same value of the work. But yeah, if we hold TC and the project continues developing, and eventually the price of the token grows, maybe that would make us also to be able to charge even more than for our work than what we could receive by stables.
Okay. Can you just repeat that last one, Wonka?
Yeah, that if the price of the token goes up, our monthly compensations would be more than if we continue paying them in stables, because we can measure how many tokens at this price, but the price of the if the price of the token grows compared to the price that it was bought, or to the price that it was calculated, then like that could make that our monthly compensations are way more than if we pay it in stables, and that's like a good
And vice
opportunity.
versa.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, you're saying, and that's a good opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity for us to see our work as a long-term impact and a long-term thing, but also can also affect, um I don't know, at certain point, this like calculation of rewards. It's just what I think. I will pass it to Manu.
Thanks, Wonka. Yeah, pretty much. I mirror Lauren's feelings. I think if I would get paid in TC, I would just hold it there. Um, yeah, I really don't have much else to say about that at this time. I'm exploring the idea of a token gated community with Chewy and how that sort of like reintroduces information asymmetry that we can somehow maybe start a betting game on it. We're talking about markets and novel ways to token engineer. I don't know. It's just very it's um, it's just an idea that I'll keep working on. But at this time, I support the idea of getting paid TC tokens. I think that's swell. And I think, is that it, Tam? Pass it back to you.
Oh yeah, that's it. Oh, Livia.
Yeah, thank you. I'm listening to everyone's opinions on using TEC tokens or not, and I feel like both points, pro and against, have they sound reasonable. So I don't know where I stand yet. Maybe I stand with Chewy on observing a little bit what's going to happen after this first distribution of the rewards and TEC tokens, and seeing how that will impact us. I don't know if we will have a clear picture of what that's going to be with the information we'll have. Because in one point, I think I would love if the DAO if we had the option to always pay proposals in TEC tokens. So I think in general, it makes sense to me that it's beneficial to always use TEC tokens. It feels like we are adding movement to our economy, which feels positive. But then also to the point of paying salaries in TEC tokens and the danger of assuming that everyone would be able to hold that, and what is the impact for us if it's not held. I don't think it would be a big impact, and probably would be like mixed. Some people would hold, some people wouldn't. But just having that in mind. And then how would that affect governance? It feels like another plutocratic measure, maybe, like the people who have the ability to not sell the token would have more governance power. But in the end of the day, everybody can buy token at any time with this money that we with the payment. So I'm sorry, a lot of thoughts to say that I don't know in which side I stand. And for the working group lead, compensation to come from working group themselves, I would prefer that we stay in the way we are doing. First, because I feel like it's working and I don't see the need to change that. And second, because I think working group leads are they are a role that is very important for our overall coordination. And it feels important to have some type of unity on how that's done. And I feel like the Stewards Working Group creates this common space where we have like a ground for how are we doing these things, what is the role of working group lead, how we get this information. Because the purpose is for the working group to continue to flow in its best way, and for us all to know what's happening in that working group. And I think that's a big part of the stewardship of the TC.
Cool. Thanks everyone for that really thoughtful feedback. Okay, a lot to chew on, and I'll digest some of it and share the proposal with the stewards before I put it on the form anyway, to get another round of advice process. And I don't actually know which one to go with yet. So I'd like to take some more time to think about it, and maybe put something in writing that then we could look at together.
Another thought that came to my mind just now is, what if stores are selling, the store who sells first get more money. So it creates some kind of food to sell the token.
It'd be interesting to model that out and to see if
definitely.
I'll add this. I mean, we're going to have the same, to Chewy's point, and to Livia, who cited that, we're going to have the same question around what happens when rewards are distributed. But yeah, there's a lot of factors. People who have tokens that are not frozen, selling those tokens, and weighing that against creating extra, I don't know, buy and sell on the TEC. That has some benefits too. But I guess, thanks for adding that. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next topic, unless there's anything else anybody wants to add on this. And maybe this is more related to the Sampo coalition working group to come. But there's a lot of incoming requests just today for token economics advisors or partnerships. Brent wrote this in the Communitas channel. I know he's going to be in touch with Gideon directly. And then in the Common Stack Telegram channel, there's also a call to help for token experts and around doing some advice on setting token supplies and any frameworks that could be used around that. So just wanted to put this on everyone's radar. I don't think there's anyone in here who doesn't already know that there's a lot of demand for token economic consulting and or advice and or experts. But just wanted to make sure that's on everyone's radar again.
Yeah, just so last week we had the first call for the TE Governance Guild, and we didn't set too much of a direction yet, just because we were discussing what was the approach we were going to take. And some of the thoughts were around this, like how can we be some type of a filter for projects coming in search for token engineers, and help them to ask the right questions and help them to look for help, because that feels like a first big problem, that most people are so uneducated on token engineering that they don't know who to look for or what exactly they need. So we were thinking, what if there is this first approach, and then helping them to find maybe long tail financial, or pointing to token engineering projects that are offering services like that.
Cool. Good. That's good to know. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's a nice group to start thinking about that too. And I think that there might be some eventual overlap with Sampo, and perhaps looking at this as a potential revenue stream, and having a way to accept these kinds of requests in a meaningful way is a good first start.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge that we were talking also with Angela and Gideon, that for us to accept these requests in a meaningful way, we need to improve our supply. Like our demand is very big right now, but the supply we have to offer meaningful help is the part that is unstructured. So that's I can share later. There is an education ladder that Angela built on understanding where we are and how to start forming more token engineers that could be available in the TC, but understanding that we don't really have that right now.
Cool. Thanks for sharing, Olivia. Anyone else want to make a comment before we move on? Okay.
I
Yeah,
just want to say briefly, regarding what Livia said, it's the V0 or the V1 of what we've been doing. We're right now we're working on the V2 through the token union governance guild that you're leading, Livia, and also on sample. But from the onboarding that I did, I realized that some of the some of the people who are more advanced in terms of the project that they want to request funding for, and before putting out for the advice process, um, they are very open to start exploring or co-creating the consulting that you're gonna need for their project, right? Like, I say this because one of the people I talked with has a project, and I suggested that we start together learning about machinations.io, which is a program for games and economic systems to simulate and model. And that was highlighted on T Academy's T Hard Skills session. I completely fell in love with it, and I've been learning about it. And I, suggested with this person for us both to um, provide some sort of like it's a soft commitment really, but to start learning together this new exciting program that is along the lines of CatCat and Token Spice, but this one's more visual. Maybe that's why I liked it. And they were very open about it. So I think that that's a good step in the right direction in terms of having a person who's like a seasoned technologist who has a project, who has some funding on other sides, and now is trying to request from a TC to start building these in-house consulting for token engineering projects. So that's something else that just sort of like organically sprung out of an onboarding session. I wanted to share that so that we know that that's happening.
Yeah, just a quick comment on that. The challenge with Machinations is that it's not an open source project and it's paid. So it would be and that's part of the challenge that we talked from the beginning of the TEC of like how can we help token engineering projects to become open source. And for tooling like this, like Machinations is like 100 times easier to use than CAD, which is open source. But then how can we support projects like this to become open source if they have so much VC funding? And like it's a bit of an ethical question also of where do we stand? How are we supporting token engineering and open source token engineering, which is in our values? And then how to create a relationship with a project that is not open source and perhaps it brings some benefit to the community. Like could they negotiate certain users for free from the TC, or like what are the relationships there that we can start to think based on our purpose? Yeah.
Thank you, Manu and Livia. Okay, anything to add about this? Really, just knowing that we continue to have high demand and that we're sort of taking embryonic steps towards figuring out how to serve better
Uh,
and build capacity. Yeah,
I just want to say one thing. Like this consultation, also, I think starting with that also will help in our community to enrich, flourish new token engineers. So I'm feeling my experience in Web3 space. Like most of the things I learned uh, like have good amount of shadowing other people. Like I've been talking with Shebnam, all those other people, and learning from them. So maybe while we are giving consultation, we can create a structure where our community members can help certain subjects and they can become a junior token engineer, and we can classify it with like different mechanisms so that we can create a big token squad of token engineers, since we don't have now. But I think this will be an educational opportunity as well by hands-on approach.
Cool. Yeah, it's very thoughtful
Yeah,
information.
I feel like the TC would need some education so we can advise more people. Like if someone would ask me, like, how to tokenize a garden after doing all these parties on the dashboard, I feel I could help. But if they want to do something different for the token model, I don't think I can do that. But if the TC itself like start creating different education around tokenized economies, I think, and then we have some parties and stuff. I don't know, like make like the people who's inside the commons in the known of these different tokenomics. I feel then we would be able to jump and help people. Like I'm pretty sure, like if someone came to the TC and say, "Oh, I want to set up a garden," how I could parameterize that, and I'm pretty sure like many people in the commons would say, "Oh, we have this tool. Let's have a chat," and but we need to learn more.
Have you been? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Joe.
Tom, I don't know if we have a couple minutes, but I just wanted to get some closure on what I was talking with Livia regarding this person that I offered to help with, both of us getting together on machinations. Is there a limit to, like, if they just want to learn how, and perhaps this is something for you and I privately, but I just wanted to, I guess, get some sense of the limits in terms of if people just want to come, they don't make a distinction of if it's um, open source or private. So how do you think we ought to? Yeah,
No, I think there shouldn't be a limit for like spontaneous things happening like this and people gathering to learn. I'm just uh, bringing this from a more like, if we want to use this as some type of consultation, if we're bringing this to a more
I
official
see. Yeah, like
place,
organization. Yeah,
or that is bringing the TC name to it, and we should just understand a little bit more. That's all.
got it. Good. I'll make sure to frame, um, my career engagement with the user like that. Thanks. Yeah, that was all, Tam. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Then closing this topic, moving to the next agenda item. 4, 3, 2, 1. So from our retrospective, we talked about checking in on upcoming conferences, having more TEC speakers, attendees, tickets. I listed the 4 that I know that TEC will be at. Feel free to add any. For ETHCC, we tried this weekend to get tickets, but the ETHCC ticket system was broken. So the latest is that they will have an update on Friday of when the next batch will be sold, but they pretty much go out in seconds. I'm not sure what else we can do with this. I can add here how to apply to become a speaker. It'd be great if there was more TEC represented, not only in the audience, but also as speakers. So to encourage all stewards and a lot of our community members to apply to speak as well. I feel like there's two things I wanted to add. In the last week's community call, YGG put a call out for help for labs. So if there are people that you think, especially Manu, since you're doing so much onboarding, or people that you've come across that could contribute to labs in a meaningful way, that would be great. Perhaps another series, the kind of series that Metaverde has done, and now with the zombies, Solidity Zombie course, I forget what it's called, and now YVIV is doing the Discord bot army. I think maybe if there's another compelling idea that we could help labs support, please reach out to YGG. And then legal working group. Yeah, Wonka?
I think I lost connection.
Oh, okay. Welcome back. And then the legal working group may evolve into something really cool, actually. So, we've had this legal working group because from the bootstrapping of the TEC until now, there have been documents, terms and conditions, covenants, many things to review, but now it's kind of, there's not really so much to do anymore. And Ivy and I were chatting about some needs for the legal working group. And she thought she thought maybe having a more legal expert be the working group coordination lead might be helpful to facilitate conversations. But then our conversations sort of evolving into maybe sort of sunsetting the legal working group as a working group, but bringing back this sort of legal research guild so that the TEC is still very aware of what's happening in the legal landscape with respect to DAOs, but it's less operational and more sort of research oriented. So perhaps it looks something like once a month, there's an hour and a half legal research guild or something like this, could invite, legal experts who have experience in the DAO space to come talk, to have Q&As with people that are interested in the very rapidly changing in every jurisdiction now legal landscape with respect to Web3 and DeFi and all this stuff. So it looks like that's gonna maybe start to happen soon, and I think that could be actually really, really cool for the legal working group. We got 2 minutes left. So anyone have a vacation coming up? I think we'll start tracking it here in this weekly Steward. So please feel free to drop your vacation so people know when we're in and out. And that's it. We probably don't have enough time to go through and do more than one working group update. So is there any working group that wants to share, to use this last minute to give an update, something important you want to share with the other stewards?
I want to share that we are buying TC with the first payment that Aragon did to Gravity. So yeah, I just feel that it's like a grain of salt, but now we are gonna make the beach, and I like it. Rain always starts with a drop, and like if Gravity can do it, also all of the working groups can do it, and I know it's just like 25% of our goal for the service of Gravity, but we're starting, and we will do that with the remaining 75%. Continue buying TC.
Awesome. Super, super big news, Juanca. Thank you for sharing that. And we're at the top of the hour. Thanks everyone for being here today and for